there's the red light. Says we're live, waiting for the green light. Just waiting for the green light to hear any. There it is. Live. We're alive and live. Well, thank you for tuning us in. It's a new time, 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, Mountain Time. We backed off an hour because of this daylight savings thing. Don't you love it? When you got to move your clocks ahead, move your clocks back, put them back ahead. We'll get into that insanity someday, but tonight I've got other insanity to talk about. How about this? A president can be impeached on the least bit of provocation, so why not a judge? I think it's time that we implemented term limits for judges anyway. To appoint a federal judge and say, that's your job until you're 115 and so senile you make Biden look like a genius. It's wrong is what it is. It was on March the 17th that President Trump ordered 238 illegal aliens. Now understand that, not just illegals, but gang members from Venezuela. These guys had committed crimes in the U.S., so he sent them to El Salvador Terrorist Prison Center where they frickin' ass well belong. Understand the El Salvador prison? It's a 40,000 bed, that's a lot of people, 40,000 bed, Ultramax prison. Ultramax means Supermax is nothing. Ultramax means you won't even see the sun, let alone get a chance to get out. Well, he did this, and that action, boy, I'll tell you what, the left's like screaming, oh my God, he's sending people to hell. You know what? They came from hell, let them go back to hell. The left wing is just whining their asses off. Especially, how about this? Federal Judge James Bossberg. He's a federal judge in the Washington, D.C. area. Tells you right there he is. The guy was appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, for God's sake. This leftist lunatic. You know what? If Donald Trump were to come up with a cure for cancer or the pill to eternal life, this judge would find a reason to block it because it says Trump. Well, screw him, okay? Screw him. President Trump said, let me get a quote here, all I did was to fulfill the wishes of the voters, crack down on illegal immigration, end quote. But then he goes on and he says, this judge, referring to Bossberg, like many of the corrupt judges I was forced to face, should be impeached. We don't want greedy, fierce, and deranged criminals, many of whom are cold-blooded killers, to stay in our country. And he's right. Impeach the judges and throw out the crooks. Maybe you could impeach and throw out a judge. Anyway, Representative Brendan Gill of Texas, he posted a request online for the impeachment of the judge. And then, of course, Musk and Trump, they chimed in. Yeah, let's do that. But that's not how it works. So Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, issued a rare statement, a rebuke. And here's what he said. Quote, impeachment is not an appropriate response to differences in judicial decisions and normal above-mentioned review procedures. The Supreme Court exists for this purpose. End quote. Now, it can be seen that the Chief Justice is not exactly in bed with Trump. Duh, you think so, Roberts? Well, let's move along, shall we? This matter has caused a lot of controversy among the American people. Most Americans support Donald Trump because he did the right thing. What's more, Trump has a legal basis. He's not just jumping out and saying, get rid of him. He has a basis according to the Foreign Enemies Act of 1798. We used it in World War II to lock up how many Japanese people, deport how many Japanese people right after Pearl Harbor was bombed. So it's not like it's an ancient law. It's been used as recent as 1941. The bill empowers the president, here's how it reads, in times of war or when hostile relations with foreign countries exist, the president may detain, expel, or restrict aliens from hostile countries. Well, Venezuela is a hostile country. Cuba, most of these countries are hostile to America. The illegal aliens expelled by Trump are mostly from Venezuela, which is a failed state currently in chaos, or what you call quasi-hostility. Don't you like that term? Quasi-hostility. It means they're even worse off than Mexico, and that's pretty bad. Well, President Trump and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by our founding fathers, John Adams among them, was written explicitly to give the president authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That's not something a district court judge has any authority over whatsoever. He should not be able to interfere with, enjoin, or restrict this action. And if you think we're not being invaded, baby, they're pouring over the border by the millions and they hate us. I guess that is an invasion. Now, moving right along here, the statute says that a president has the power to repel them. So repel them. If each and every deportation has to be adjudicated by a district court judge, if every individual, that means you have no country, no sovereignty, no future. It is fundamentally impossible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge. Can't be done. So a deeper and more fundamental point is that the district court has no ability or authority to interfere with higher activities. Understand the Alien Enemies Act? If you want to debate that, debate it in the U.S. Supreme Court. None of Trump's actions has really been subject to the decisions of district courts. What you have is a bunch of leftist activist judges who've decided they can rewrite the Constitution from the bench. Oh, screw you people. District court judges do not have the authority. Period. They don't have it, okay? They don't. They can't interfere when the president exercises his powers as commander-in-chief. So at a time when there is a serious split in American ideology, wondering which judge has the right to ban a president's executive order, what? It's not surprising that the U.S. government is not only extremely inefficient, but bordering on collapse. To those leftist judges in robes, how dare you beat your chest and make promises to God when you don't even believe in God? Pigs! It's time to take this seriously. That is, implement term limits for all American judges and impeach any corrupt or incompetent judges as necessary.